You're on, Tobe.
I'm live. All right.
I think we're working.
Hey, this is the part where I typically. Oh wait, Bud changed his mind. We're not ready yet.
I gotta push another button.
Oh man.
Sorry for my.
We were close to ready.
Works.
Okay, now we're on?
Yep.
Okay, now we're live. Okay, anyways, this is the part where I typically get to ramble on for 2 to 3 minutes about our sponsors. But in case you haven't noticed, if you're watching the live, the scenery is different tonight. We're at my house tonight. Bud was fortunate, nice enough to come over. We didn't have to do a three-way phone call because I had a tooth pulled today, and with the drugs they give me, they tell me I can't drive. And my chauffeur for the day had other plans for the night. And this is the part where I typically hold this piece of paper in front of me and I read our sponsors. And Bud didn't bring the sheet along, so I'm not even going to try it. So our sponsors are playing on the screen if you can see them.
Most of them.
Most of them. And if not, thanks to all our sponsors for everything they've done for us and the racing world in general. And anyways, we'll just continue on from there.
All right. And who knows what Toad's going to say tonight. Just throwing that out.
We got drugs, man.
Here we go. All right. We're back at Hoagie's Garage. And we're lucky enough to have Chase Dietz on. How you doing tonight, Chase?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
Every night we got to do this is a good night.
It sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, we have a chance to talk to some of the best race car drivers in the world, and coming from two yahoos like us, we're pretty lucky guys.
I said it 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show. We always joke about our 25 viewers that we have. Maybe we're up to 27, 28 now. I told Bud after the show, and I was truthfully honest with him. I said, I really wouldn't care if nobody listened to the show at all, as long as people would still come and talk to us, because I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
So the people, that's just a bonus for us if somebody listens. So,
Chase, what's new out in PA?
Quite a lot, probably since the last time I talked to you guys.
Absolutely, it's been a while.
Yeah, and it's we've had a great year out here, so we're trying to finish things out. We only got a couple of races left out here in Pennsylvania, and then we got to get prepared for next year. So it's been it goes by quick, that's for sure.
I bet they do.
You're still racing. We've been done here since what?
Labor Day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we're just spoiled out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. There's a race at Park Jefferson for some body cars and stuff. I don't know if sprint cars are there. No, I think it's just body cars.
So. But we play at Lawton Bronson, so
you're gonna stop on the way home?
I might
maybe
drive over there and watch a little bit of that. I told Kobe I would. So, Chase, I think maybe the last time we had you on was when you were trying to start your own team. Can you just kind of take us through that on how you did that? Started basically from scratch and built everything up, had a great year, and then what's all transpired since then. And if you want to talk for 20 minutes right now, it's all yours.
Okay. In 2023, I was end of 2022, I was getting out of the John Trone's 39 car here in Pennsylvania, and that point kind of left me at a fork in the road, kind of what I wanted to do, and there was a couple rides I could have maybe tried to pursue, and at that time I kind of thought to myself, if I had the resources, I'd like to try and do my own thing, just because then I could kind of control the factors and looked at trying to build my own program. That was kind of my goal from that time on. So in 23, I started my own team. I was able to talk to a lot of lot of good sponsors that were willing to help and kind of get me started up with things. We didn't have a truck, trailer, shop, cars, motors, anything. So just over that off season, we put things together. I was able to basically get a shop up and going, thanks to one of our sponsors. Ended up getting a trailer, getting all the equipment and stuff all over the winter there, and then we started things off in 2023. My first year, we had started out with a used motor we were able to purchase, and then we had also had a new motor built, and which we got, I think May of that year. So from that time on, we might have ran like 30 races that year. I think we won 2 or 3. I think it might have been 3 races. And we had some really strong runs with some of the big shows with the Outlaws and whatnot. We were able to time well and get ourselves in position. And then last year, just kind of worked off of that again. Tried to get our equipment built up a little bit more so we could do a little more. We probably ran about 40 shows. Might not have quite hit that. And we really hit our stride, I'd say, about mid-season around Pennsylvania Speed Week time. So once we got to the end of the year, we were competing, with the Outlaws pretty well, when they came into town even then. And we had closed off the year with I think we were quick time at Williams Grove. I know we were quick time at BAPS with the Outlaws for 2 of them shows. And for the National Open weekend, we finished 3rd in the prelim after starting on the pole, I think, that night. And then the National Open event, we were running 4th or 5th, and got in a tangle probably like 12 laps into that feature, but had a good run going, and we were able to close out the year on some really, really good, strong finishes. So was very, very successful through that time. The end of last year, got in the talks with John and Kelly Stamen, who are coroners out here in Pennsylvania. They had been looking for another driver at that point, and I ended up taking that ride on here for 2025. And at that point, I feel, the way things have been going this year, we've had an outstanding year, our first year together, and are continuing to improve off of that. Here, it's just a couple of races to go, but I think we have 9 410 wins this year. We got a 360 win. We just picked up our first World Outlaws win just the other week at the National Open on the prelim night. So it's been an awesome year. It's definitely been a journey, just in the last couple of years, and it's been a longer journey since the start of my 410 career. So it's pretty cool that been able to kind of progress, really well in the last couple years and get to this position that I'm in now, with a great team. So it's just keeps rolling. Keep working off of it and always trying to be better. But it's been an outstanding 2025 and a great couple years, I should say.
We were fortunate enough to watch that World of Outlaws win that you had. You were awful excited about that after the race. What is the feelings like at that, to get your first one, to get that one out of the way? I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself, but
I felt like I still haven't even had it sink in quite yet, just because we're still on the go, still been finishing up our year here, and I mean we've been pretty much nonstop for months, and just for what I have had to think about it, it's a pretty incredible feeling. I'm not one to get very excited, honestly, and pulling off that win, I was pretty jacked up. I had some tears, rolling out my eyes, just going across the scale after the feature, just because it's like, that's all I've worked for basically my my entire life and career. This has been my life since I've been born. That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in that position. I wanted to beat those guys and do it more, but to do it the first time, especially Williams Grove too. It's just an unreal feeling. A little bit of relief, but just excitement that are able to do that, because they are any win is very, very difficult to get. But to win in an outlaw race, that's something at another level. And it's taken me a long time to just figure out how to even get ourselves in position to do that. And it's just a step by step process. I feel like once you start getting yourself up there, then you start to realize, like, okay, now I figured out the first part of it. Then you gotta get yourself in those positions where you're starting to compete with those guys up front. And it starts to build that confidence. And after that, the toughest part is figuring out how to basically just finish it off and get that win. Beginning of this year, just racing here in Pennsylvania, we kicked things off with a win at the first race of the season at Lincoln. And we went on a streak of finishing, I think, second or third. Way too many races in a row, I could say. And at that time at the beginning of this year, that was one thing I really focused on. Is like, man, I know we're getting ourselves in position, but like, what do I need to do to win these races, or what could have I done to win those races? It's tough. It's very tough to figure that out. You're not going to all the time, as simple as that. We're not all Kyle Larson, but it's, if you can just keep putting yourself there in those situations, it's gonna pay off eventually. Then you're gonna get those wins. But for me, it's been closing in on, like, what do I need to do in those situations, and what could have I done, how to control your emotions. That was a big thing at the Outlaw race. I felt we were in position, and when I was behind Macedo, I didn't think he was really getting away from us, even in clean air, so I knew we were in good shape. It was a matter of just kind of, at that point, waiting for the race to play out. And it got to, I remember one lap there in the feature, I'd entered the top early in the race because I got to second, and I felt like, we were right there. And I all but clipped the wall entering turn 3. And, right then and there, I had to, kind of reset myself and be like, look, stay focused, and, don't make those mistakes. Cause that's what it comes down to. You gotta limit the mistakes. You gotta make the right choices and make them at the right time. And, that's what I was able to do that race. But, to do it every night, that's even tougher. So a lot of it's just that mental game, and a lot of that just comes with experience. But you gotta stay aware. You gotta stay aware of yourself and what you're doing, and continue to work to get better. So just a crazy ride to get there. Some guys have never have been able to accomplish that feat, and they've been racing for a long time. And it's just that's where, sitting back and thinking about it a little bit, that's what makes it so incredible. Just to do that. And, for me, I know I want more than just one. So, it's
well, you were close again here just the other night. You got second, right?
Yeah. We got second there the other night. We got second at Lincoln early in the year too, I think, to Kofoid. And, there's a lot more there. It's just, to put ourselves, or, to put my name on the list, that's great, but, I want to keep working up that list. So, it's always always on to the next one. But, just a great accomplishment, something I've always wanted to, obviously get to. And that was one of my goals for this year, was to win a national event, and was able to accomplish that. So it's just, it's been, like I said, a really, really good run this whole season.
You bet. Just for Facebook fans, we have Chase Dietz from BA on. This might be a little bit of a weird question, but I think good question for other sprint car drivers that are trying to field their own team or whatever. How hard was it for you to go get sponsors? How did you go about sponsors? I mean, to me, that's what allows you to race is when you can get sponsors. So when you started your own team again, how did you go about getting sponsors?
It wasn't necessarily just walking up to people and asking if they wanted to sponsor. That was the whole decision to me. Basically, creating my team was based on if I could get the help. And for me, the help came from people that I've built relationships with for basically my whole career, even, just life before the racing too. So, all I can say is, as far as sponsors go, first off, you got to think outside the box. You got to pay attention to, the fact that, obviously most people are looking for the financial help because it's not easy to do this in this sport. But you also got to look at the flip side with the sponsor and what they're looking for. So it's not just you get your money and run type of thing. So you really gotta pay attention to what everyone's interests are and what they want to get out of it. You need to be able to kind of be creative in how you can help those sponsors. Rico Aber does one excellent job in basically representing his sponsors in every way possible. So for like young drivers, young racers looking to reach that level, like look, that's one guy to absolutely pay attention to. He gets out on social media, has a wonderful fan base, and can get to a big audience of people. So that's something to absolutely pay attention to. And the third thing is you got to know that it's not going to just be a flip of a switch and you're going to have all this stuff sitting there and all these sponsors. It takes a lot of time. Like I said, the other reason I was able to build my team was based on relationships I'd have built for a long time. Those people believed in me. They had respect for me. I had respect for them. And, I found a way to do it that way. So, for those racers now, I'd say start building those relationships. And it's not just, build relationships with the thought behind it that, you're going to get a sponsor out of it in 10 years. It's the fact that, you want to be able to communicate with people that you enjoy communicating with. Start building your environment, building your brand. But, just simply be nice. You never know, you never know what could happen. You never know who you can meet. So, enjoy that journey because, it is a journey, but, it simply just takes time to do. So, I'd say the best thing you could do is, again, be, open to talking to anyone, be nice and kind to anyone you talk to. Always be willing to kind of go that extra step because that communication is the biggest thing. It gets you very far in life. Aside from racing, relationships are built everywhere. We have wives and girlfriends. We have businesses. It's all built off relationships. It's no different than a race team or a sports team. So you build that team and you create that success. But you just gotta keep working at that and know it's gonna be a little work and time to make all that happen.
All I got, that was a really good question, Bud. It was great information, Chase. but it's a bad night for us because we don't even have our sponsored list, but we didn't get to thank our sponsors tonight. And Bud brings up this whole sponsor thing, so don't do it, me and Bud did. Listen to Chase. Always remember your sponsors.
Hey, I've already forgotten them in victory lane. That's just how it happens sometimes.
We're just sitting here though. You got the adrenaline rush going, and me and Bud just can't remember anything.
It's human error. That's how it is. That's how it works. But
so, how did this ride come together, and what's kind of like the working relationship? Is the car in your shop? Are you working on it? You know, who's the crew chief? How's this all working for this year?
So at the end of 2024, I had spoken to John and Kelly Steeman, and they were looking to make a change and looking for a driver and stuff. And I sat down and talked to them, and we were at that point they were showing me the team that they had, kind of explaining what they would have liked to do and whatnot going into 2025. And I was interested. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do at that time, mainly because I was doing so well with my own stuff, and I had a lot of fun with my own car as well, just because of the group of people I was working with, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave that or not. So when we had that discussion, they had a couple crewmen there to start. There wasn't crew chief or anything there yet, so I wasn't too sure. And then at that time last year, I was also racing for the Zemco racing team, and Tommy Carl was the crew chief on that car, and John and Kelly had spoken to him, and at that point, me and Tommy had kind of talked about things, and we ended up making that switch over there. So it was kind of basically a duo coming over there, and with Tommy Carl and myself, we had some time together with the Zemco team, so that relationship was there. Kind of going back to this relationship aspect, and I felt comfortable going there, with him, knowing what I felt we were capable of doing, and at that point we were able to kind of start working on the base, and getting everything together to get prepared for this year. And as far as the team goes, Tommy, he's the crew chief. We got Jeff Weaver and Isaac Shope also on the team. Those guys are the ones that got us to the track every night this year, and provided me with safe equipment every single race. And they're the reason we're able to get out there and do as well as we have without having any issues. That gives me confidence. So great group of guys, and we've had a lot of success this year. And obviously, without John and Kelly, we wouldn't be able to do it. They've been nothing but supportive the entire season. They provide us everything we need to go out and do it, and they have a lot of fun doing it. They've had a lot of fun this year, so it's just things haven't necessarily always been real good throughout the year. We've had our struggles at times, but that's only helped us, honestly. You gotta get through those moments, and honestly, once we have, it's made us better and better. And we're just really just a building year for us in 2025, and the fact that we've had the year we've had is great. But we look ahead, and we know this was just this is a growing year. Next year is going to be the same way, but we just got to keep focused on continuing to keep building and putting things in the right direction. And I think at that point, I'd say towards next year, the end of next year, we could be a pretty tough threat all the time. I feel no matter where we would go. So it all comes down to that team effort, and everyone's there, and everyone wants to win, and has that has that same mindset. So when you have that, there's not going to be any issues, in reaching that success. So we just got to keep working at that and close out this year strong, and then we start working on making next year even better.
So obviously you're with the same team next year. So I would say Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania, the Mid East Coast, whatever you want to say, probably better watch out a little bit for the Chase Dietz team next year.
I absolutely plan on that. But we've been, like I said, just been very strong. We're consistent here at home. I think going into next year, trying to basically turn some more of those seconds and thirds into a couple more wins, around here, and at the same token, getting stronger finishes when we leave Pennsylvania. I felt last time we went to Eldora here for the 4 Crown, we made improvements. We had better speed out the gate, and we ended up the last night at least pulling out a top 10. So it's that's the stuff we got to work on. That's the stuff we pay attention to. But look, we need to get ourselves out there and pretty much get our asses kicked to kind of show where we stood, and that's the stuff we focused on through the end of the year here, and then what we're really going to focus on here over the winter to prepare ourselves when we leave Pennsylvania. But once we do that stuff, like I said, it only makes us better. So we knew it was gonna be tough, and we know it's gonna only get tougher. But I feel we'll be even more prepared, come next year for those.
Yep.
So, do you race for track championships, or are you just going to the races that work best for your team?
So as far as with the Stamen Motorsports team, we just focused on basically competing at all the big races in Pennsylvania. There may have been a couple local shows that we've run, mainly early in the season when there wasn't too many big races going on. But primarily we never raced for a championship all year. We just were kind of back and forth, even at our local tracks. Just focusing on which race was the biggest, what paid the most. And there was a matter of, like, even when we went to Knoxville, Eldora, went out to Peevely early in the year when we had a lot of rain all season through that beginning, and we weren't focused on the championships just because it didn't really make sense to do. We wanted to keep ourselves prepared for all the big shows. So around here you have the Tuscarora 50, the White and stuff at Port Royal. So we wanted to make sure we were going to be ready for those races. So focused on mainly any weekly shows. We go to Port Royal just to make sure we felt good up there, and then basically come speed week, you were focusing on all the big stuff. There's a lot of races here in Pennsylvania just paying 10 grand to win, probably from about May through the end of the year. So we were kind of just all over, and aside from just the money, I think it just helps us from a team aspect, just because we're not getting I guess stagnant. We're always on our toes, adjusting to the back and forth tracks, and it certainly helps from that. I think the mental aspect, and just making sure you don't get in a slump. You can get caught off guard because it's very easy to just go week to week, and you run the same track, see the same conditions sometimes, and just kind of afraid to get out of your I guess think out of the box. So that's where we wanted to make sure we didn't get that way, and focused on just being good at all the big shows, and that's was our main goal going into this year, and we'll continue that next year. So from a championship aspect, unless we go out like a high limit or outlaw tour, they're a little different. But as far as any local tracks, that's not our focus.
You mentioned the spring out there in Pennsylvania, which was a horrible one for racing, I guess you could say. Yeah. In that first month, did you guys get 25% of the races in Pennsylvania even?
Maybe
It
that
didn't
might have
seem
been
like
about
it.
it. Yeah, it was pretty brutal for I'd say the first 2 3 months of racing. But once we got to about Speed Week, it's been hammered down. I
Yeah,
should
yeah,
say we've had some really really nice weather here to end out the year. But yeah, that's just how it goes.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we've still run all but 70 races this year, or I know we're gonna just break 70. So I mean
Okay.
that's a lot, and some of that's
Yeah.
from a little traveling, but not too much.
No. Do you have any? Do you see this team down the road, 2 years, 3 years, possibly going high limit or World of Outlaw, or is this pretty much strictly a PA team?
As right now, strictly PA. I don't know. That can always change. You never know. Day to day, month to month, year to year. But I feel we have the team to be tough anywhere. We might just need some more time outside of PA to kind of get to that point. We'll kind of see how things go, through next year and down the road to see where that takes us. But you just never know.
What races do you have left out in PA this year? I know you said you got a couple anyhow, but
Yeah, so as far as anything we have left out here, we have Lincoln Speedway this weekend. They have their final race of the season. And then we have one race at Bridgeport and two races at Baps Motor Speedway. So
okay.
no more doubleheader weekends or anything. It's just one race weekend here, basically through the rest of the season, and we'll finish out those four races here, and then we're on to the off season.
Was that kind of like in the spring when they move it to like the middle of the afternoon too, or not?
As far as like those events coming up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, like at Bats and stuff. Are those in the afternoon or are they at night yet?
Yeah, I know. Like this weekend, I think we start at like 4 p.m. Some of that's just we have a long program, as Lincoln has a couple makeup features as well. But I know the BAP shows they start earlier in the afternoon. As we get colder temperatures and
Yep.
the sun's going down a little quicker. So trying to help the fans, and honestly, it's kind of nice. The typically a little faster programs. So we'll have that. I'm not 100% sure on Bridgeport, but I'm pretty sure they're a little earlier too. So just that time of year. But in all honesty, I don't think anyone minds that.
No.
I'd rather be getting
Yeah.
home at as far as what we can do out here at PA, it's kind of nice when you get home about 9 o'clock instead of 1 in the morning the next day. So it makes it pretty nice for the fans and the teams. But we're just spoiled out here. So for most of them guys outside of Pennsylvania, they're traveling a couple hours to the racetrack.
Yep.
So can't talk about that too much. They might be getting on me about that.
um, just for curiosity on my part, Lincoln Speedway went to the virtual flagman, whatever. How did that work out this year? Was there any complication, or how was that as a driver? I mean, I'm assuming it was fine, but
Yeah, and honestly, at first it was kind of odd when they did that, but it's not bad. It's actually the way they have the board. It's kind of like a big board, almost more at your eye level vision from the driver's aspect.
okay,
So instead of having to like look up, not that I felt like I did much anyway. You would kind of go off the lap counter or the board sometimes. So,
sure.
but from like that virtual board, it actually works out pretty nice because like you can see the lap count pretty easily, and you can see the white flag checkered stuff.
Oh, so they got the
I think.
laps on that same board for you then.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
and so it's actually fairly nice. I think everyone was pretty uncertain about it, but it's just look, it's new technology and something different. So everyone's always gonna complain one way or
Yeah.
another, but it's worked out pretty well. They haven't had any issues with it.
No.
It worked for the last 50 years. Why do we have to change it? That's how us old
Yeah,
folks are. We don't
yeah,
like change.
that's how it goes. Is always change at some point.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that
Yeah.
there is. That is so true.
What's a couple of your favorite tracks in PA, and then maybe a couple of your favorite tracks outside of PA?
Definitely Lincoln. I'd be number one on my list here in Pennsylvania. Um, you know, honestly, I'd say Sealange Grove is probably my number two. I feel like I've had a lot of success there for the not too much time that I've raced there, but I really enjoyed that. And outside of PA, I did not do any good whatsoever when we were there earlier this year, but Peevely was absolutely awesome. That was an unreal racetrack. I was used to playing it on the World of Outlaws video game when I was younger, but actually getting there and racing, that was wild. Really neat facility and track to race on. And I'd say the other I'd say Eldora. It's a wild track. I've had a couple times I've been out there. I've been out there with the Silver Crown car and the sprint car now a couple times, and I really enjoy Eldora. It's pretty different, but it seems from the driver it's small, but it's banked and has a ton of speed, and it's just definitely a lot of fun to race on. So I'd say those would be the two outside of Pennsylvania.
So, since you brought up Eldora, why has there been so many injuries there?
I think some of that's just nature of the beast to a point. You know, just from like when we were out there from the King's Royal, there was pretty good, dip into one. And it's not like everyone didn't know it was there. It's just we were racing at high speeds. We're in the lanes were around that spot, and you know again, guys, we're competitors, so wherever we feel the fastest, we're gonna run there. And sometimes it's just gonna bite you. Simple as that. So it's just to a point, just the nature of the beast. But at the same token, we're racing at a high level for that was a massive weekend. As far as those races go, and these guys are racing for a living, so we're trying to do as best they can to get win those races, also have a good paycheck. But you reach those limits. That's stuff that happens, and unfortunately that's part of it. But it's not like a track wants to have an issue and create those problems, but there's always going to be characteristics in the racetrack, and it's just a matter of adapting. But luckily we have some great safety equipment. Most of them probably could have been a whole lot worse if not for that stuff. So that just goes along with it. The safety equipment, what we have, it probably makes us feel invincible compared to what guys were racing in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it's just part of it, and from the mental aspect, you got to go into it. You're just gonna run the crap out of it. So it's just sprint car racing.
Crappy bad luck to some extent too. Just But you got T-shirts and stuff available for the off season? Do you have a website or anything like that going, Chase?
Yeah. We have a website. We have everything on there. It's ChaseDietzRacing.com. We have T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that stuff on there. If anyone's listening who's interested in checking anything out, you can go to ChaseDietzRacing.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and I have an Instagram that you can just look up my name. You'll find it. But you can keep up to date with everything.
Absolutely. Perfect. What about your sponsors? Do you know them?
Yeah.
Make us look good, Chase. Rattle them off.
Obviously John and Kelly Stamen, they allow us to do what we do, but Troy K Manufacturing, Mountain Ridge Metals, Glenville Station, Pub and Grub, GL Capital, Patton Sons, David Hohenschild Welding, Penske Shocks, Moose Blocks, Jake's Golf Carts, Nay Nays, all those people, they they support our team, they believe in us, and they allow us to do this week to week. So just can't thank them enough, as well as all of our families. For everyone involved on the team. It takes a big team, and everyone gives us that chance to do this. So just a big thank you to all of them.
You bet. Well, since we talked to you the first time, which has actually been quite a few years ago, we've always watched you. We've always cheered for you. You're just one of the good guys in racing, and we just really appreciate everything you do for racing, and it's just always fun watching you.
Well, look, I appreciate you guys taking the chance to talk with me. I love being able to meet new people and talk racing all the time. And if you guys ever need anything, you get in touch. So just appreciate you guys for what you do and kind of putting us in a little bit of the spotlight that we can talk to fans and explain some of this stuff to them and just bring in new fans. That's it's awesome, and we need more people like you guys to do that.
All right.
Well, we appreciate it. Well, anyway, best of luck the rest of the year. Best of luck next year. And the good Lord will, and a little luck on my side, I'll make it back out for the Weichert Memorial, and we'll have to stop by and say hi sometime. I'll find you.
That sounds wonderful.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Chase.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Chase.
No problem, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
You bet. If you ever run into other drivers that just want to promote themselves and stuff like that, we would be more than happy to take care of anybody in PA that wants to be on a podcast. So,
Okay.
All right.
Well, I tell you what. One, just in case you ever look him up, one kid I would talk to, and I will say something to him as well. But one kid to look into around here is Cameron Smith. He's driving Rick Lefever's number 75 car out here in PA. I had driven that car a while back, but I definitely would like to hear him get on here because he's a good kid, and he's gonna be a good one here in a good couple of years.
Yeah, we honestly kind of started with Ryan Timms when he was super, super young, like 13 or something like that. And we've probably had him on here 5-6 times since then.
Yep.
But it's amazing how much better talker he is now than what he was. And it's little things like this that I think help those guys out.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's huge. Anytime I have a chance to do this kind of stuff, I go and take it because that communication aspect that I was talking about, like, look, that gets you really far. If you can talk to people, it's first off, it helps you build those relationships. Secondly, you can relate with people better, and it just definitely helps them. It also helps the sport.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just because you can have that professional look to you. But anytime you get on that stuff, I've always been that way for a long time, and that's why I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And it makes for another good night for me and Bud too. Yeah. So it's always a win-win.
Absolutely. We had was it Moody? Who's the what's the name of it when you go repossess stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Is that Moody? No, that's not Moody.
No. Mike Walter.
There you go.
We found out what he did halfway through the podcast.
We forgot to talk about racing.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. I think him and his dad both do it. Yeah, they're badasses. There ain't no damn way I'd be doing that.
Yeah. And then we're so good with names. She's in charge of the high limits, the gal.
Yeah.
Stewart. No, not Cart. Oh, crap. Anyways, we had her on the show.
Okay.
Kendra Jacobs.
Oh yeah.
But I got there. We got to talk about food because she likes to cook and her mom cooks, and we spent 15, 20 minutes on food. So
yeah.
It ain't all about racing. Where's whatever the conversation. We don't write anything down. I did write down Cameron Smith, so we won't forget the name you gave us.
Yep. Nope. Look that one up. I'm telling you.
All right.
It took us, you notice how quickly we remember names, so we got to write crap down.
Hey, that's all right.
Chase, thanks again.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, bye.